So, folks, we've got reports that the pandemic relief for EBT, SNAP food benefits, is coming to an end. And I believe that it's coming to an end of this month, end of February, or beginning of March. They'll stop with the added boost for SNAP food stamp recipients and EBT. But what's even worse than that is that our current administration, our government, is allowing this to happen at a time where the food prices are at their highest. Inflation is climbing and jobs are at risk. People are on the verge of becoming homeless. Layoffs are happening left and right. Companies are laying off folks by the thousands, by the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people losing their jobs. And even in some states, some of these food stamps, EBT, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP card beneficiaries, they didn't even get their benefits through the summer. They didn't get their pandemic EBT or PEBT through the summer. Actually had somebody comment, they said that they subscribe to and they watch Learning with Linda, and she provides a ton of value and information and updates on what's going on with government stimulus aid and government handout assistance packages and food stamps and welfare and a variety of other things. A lot of people have been asking me a whole lot more recently about grants from the government, free money, funding for starting businesses, which can help people with the economic struggle with their current employment and income, many of which lacking savings. I got to bring you guys an update on some information about the decline of the middle class and the very low amount of savings and safety net that people have available that are putting themselves at extreme risk, walking a fine line. It's like a tightrope with no net above this circus tent that we call an economy in this country right now. And if they make one wrong move, one false step, then they'll fall. And it's going to be a long fall to the bottom. And I don't think they're going to be getting back up after they hit the bottom. You see what I'm saying? But the simple fact of the matter is that the program, they're shifting the funds. Now, granted, Biden has approved multiple spending packages. I think one of the most recent was like a $1.7 trillion spending package that included sending billions and billions of dollars to the Ukraine, in addition to additional military equipment, more money being spent to fight this war. And I don't know if it'll ever end. The wasteful spending is what I mean. I don't know if it'll ever end, but we have to do the same, folks. We can't just be one-sided here, okay? Because a lot of folks out here are contributing to the wasteful spending, knowing that they don't have a surplus coming in. So, wasteful spending on Starbucks every day, wasteful spending on buying every new Apple product that comes out, wasteful spending on a new pair of Jordans, new pair of J's, Air Force Ones, Foamposites, some red bottoms, Louis Vuitton bag. I don't think people are still buying Coach bags, Birkin bags. Like, there's a lot of wasteful spending, YSL. And we're coming up on the next season of wasteful spending, folks. Look, I'm all for it. I live at the beach. Don't get me wrong. I love it here. But at the end of the day, if you can't afford it, don't put yourself and your family in a tight financial bind, in a terrible situation where you could potentially face some extremely bad news because you've overspent, you've over leveraged, you financed a vacation, a spring break vacation that you can't afford, only to return home and possibly be laid off or face some unexpected emergency expense that you do not have the money to cover. And this is what's causing a lot of people to find themselves down in their luck, hard times, people's vehicles being repossessed at record rates because they just don't have the money to make the payments because the money has been sucked dry somewhere else. Like I said, high inflation, record high inflation as we enter into, if not having already been in, a recession, folks, with plenty of warnings of signs of future job insecurity and layoffs as a result of a variety of reasons, not just Walmart, laying people off and shutting down stores and closing down stores and shutting down facilities and fulfillment centers, but other businesses as well, for theft and a variety of other reasons, people going in and stealing things. This could cause a huge ripple, huge disruption in people's ability to maintain gainful employment. And then, if all you've done since, really, people kind of had a free pass and they took their stimulus checks and they just wasted them. They just blew them. If all you've done since, the money printer was turned on was just make it rain, well, I hope you bought an umbrella, because the storm is coming, folks. This is the calm before the storm. Will there be a fourth stimulus check? Maybe, probably not. Even if there were, it would cause more harm than good, and you guys know exactly why. Michael Burry, he has made some predictions about an additional stimulus check, or what would happen if stimulus checks were cut again, specifically and particularly as they relate to the housing market, which is increasingly becoming more expensive. As I shared with you guys just here recently about Walmart shutting down the work from home option and mandating, enforcing effective immediately workers return back to corporate offices. Well, they're also closing some of the corporate offices. So for the workers to return, they have an option. They can commute, added cost, added expense. They can find a new job. You're done, you're toast, you're out of here, sayonara. Or they can relocate. And relocate was actually Walmart CEO Doug McMillon. That was his initial offer, was to relocate. But that'd be like saying, I don't know, sprout wings and fly. Like, it's easier said than done. You got to think about the way the housing market is right now, and relocating is quite the endeavor and could potentially financially just cripple and wipe out some people who are not prepared for the costs that are associated with it. With the problem being that if they can't, then they're ultimately going to have to find a new job in one of the toughest job markets around, like in history, folks. All I'm saying is that we got a lot of shit coming our way, and it would be, in my opinion, a great time to focus on doubling down on paying attention to what matters most. Not so much paying attention to the headlines and the clickbait titles of stimulus checks coming, checks in the mail, fourth check, and more so focusing on the essentials, the 5 basic principles of earning more money, spending less than you make, budgeting, eliminating high interest revolving credit card debts, and saving and investing for the potential of returns on investment that can put you up above this economic revolving door of living paycheck to paycheck, barely making enough to survive, just to keep your heads above water, and being literally one paycheck away from being homeless.